Okay, another video response to a question I received recently. Someone asked me about the difficulty. They asked me, out of all languages I've studied, which has been the most complicated? Which language, basically, um, which is the hardest language I've studied out of all the languages I've studied so far? I also often get this question: what's the hardest language in the, what is the hardest language in the world? Well, to me, I look at languages in aspects. Okay, I don't like to just say this language is the hardest in the world, because to me there is really no such thing as the hardest language in the world. Um, that's just my opinion. That's just to me. I like to look at languages in aspects. Okay. Um, if we talk about aspects, let's say, for example, let's start off with grammar. Okay. um, Grammatically, there are several languages very difficult grammatically. The first, I would have to say Arabic. Okay. Arabic is one of the most difficult languages to learn grammatically, hands down. Arabic. So you have Arabic, um, Russian, and Georgian. Now, I don't know if I could put Georgian. Perhaps I could put Georgian before Russian, because Georgian, I don't know, man. Georgian is very, very tough grammatically. That's a very tough language. Although I've only studied for a short period of time, and I've studied Russian longer, I still feel that Georgian may be far more complicated than Russian grammatically. So those three languages there are the most complicated ones grammatically in that aspect of grammar. Okay. Um, what else? We got Arabic, Russian, Georgian. Yeah, I can't think of any other ones. Any other um, language with tough grammar? Tough is, that difficult. Now, Japanese, Korean, their grammar is complex, but it is not as complex as Arabic, Russian, and Georgian. Far more complicated than any other language I've studied. And I have about 50 languages under my belt, and not to toot my horn or anything, but out of all the languages I've played with, dabbled around with, Arabic, Russian, and Georgian, those are far more complicated grammatically. Okay, so that's the grammar aspect. Now let's talk about the pronunciation aspect. Hands down, pronunciation aspect, Vietnamese. Out of all the languages I've studied, pronunciation wise, Vietnamese, hands down. Vietnamese is a crazy language. You have to have a precise pronunciation. Okay, I thought Chinese was bad, but Vietnamese is worse. Vietnamese is worse. So Vietnamese has a tough pronunciation. Chinese has a tough pronunciation. Um, what other languages? Um, Chinese. Say Vietnamese, Chinese. I think there's a language called what's the name of that language? Oh shoot, I forgot the name of it. It's an old language spoken in old language spoken. Oh man, what the heck? Shoot, I forgot the name of that language. Anyway, I haven't really studied it, but I played around with it a little bit, and it seemed like the pronunciation was tough. It's an old language. I think it's already dead. I don't know if I want to say dead. It's damn near a dead language. If it comes to mind, I'll bring it back up. But definitely Vietnamese is probably the hardest as far as pronunciation. Very, very difficult. So we have grammar, pronunciation. What else? Grammar. Okay, grammar, pronunciation, reading and writing. Chinese. Definitely Chinese. Hands down, Chinese is the most difficult as far as reading and writing, because those characters aren't a joke. Okay, characters. You have the characters. Then you have on top of that 2 systems. You have traditional and simplified. So that makes it even more complicated. So in that aspect, Chinese is the Chinese, Mandarin, Cantonese, anything using those Chinese characters, that's complicated. Okay. What other languages as far as reading and writing? That's pretty much it as far as reading and writing. Everything else has, you either have an alphabet, and once you have an alphabet, it's not really that complicated. Now Thai is Thai is a bit complicated, but it's not as bad as Chinese, or it's not as bad as Chinese. Chinese is worse because Chinese doesn't have obviously because it doesn't have an alphabet, so it's far more complicated. So grammar, let's see, grammar, pronunciation, reading, writing. That's pretty much it. So it's hard for me. I can't really say that one language is the hardest, and this language is the most difficult in the world. Most people say, "Oh yeah," I've had native speakers telling me that, like, let's say Chinese. They say Chinese is the hardest in the world. But see, most of the time when people say that, they've never studied multiple languages. So I feel that unless you're a linguist, a polyglot, you don't have the right to say that your own language is the most difficult in the world. You don't have the right to say that. I mean, you can say that if that's everyone is entitled to their own opinion, but to just say that your language is the most difficult in the world is pretty unacceptable, because you haven't studied any other language. So how would you know your language is the most difficult in the world? You have to have some sort of knowledge of other languages to make that, to make that claim. That's sort of an outrageous claim to say something like that, to say that your language is the hardest in the world. I've had that so many times. People tell me, "Oh yeah, Chinese is the most difficult in the world. Arabic is the most difficult in the world. Russian most difficult in the world." But it's not. You can't look at it like that. You have to have knowledge in multiple languages to make that claim. Okay, so yeah, that's my opinion. Those are the languages I feel they're difficult in at least in those aspects. But to say that one is the most complicated, I don't. There is just it's pretty hard to say. It's pretty hard to say. So what else I leave out? Is that all? So yeah, that's pretty much it. Pronunciation, grammar, reading, writing. Hope I didn't forget anything. Listening, I don't know if listening is kind of like pretty much the same with all languages. Pretty much the same. Once you get used to it, eventually you get used to the listening. That's with all languages. But other than that, I think the most important would probably be the reading, writing, grammar, pronunciation. That's how I look at languages. So this will conclude the video for this for the response. And if you guys have any questions or have any objections or whatnot, just leave me a message. I'll reply back to it as soon as I can. Thanks for viewing the video.